Alright, so by now you've got hopefully a pretty clear picture of the Venn diagram, what three roles are sort of most common within schools. This is where you probably want to be making the link between sort of this big theory, this sort of more practical, how it works, how it looks like, and yourself, and you want to expand it out to the school that you're working at. So just from the research, we talk about three different types of schools. There's your excelling school, there's your standard school, and there's your slumping or struggling school, or turnaround schools, depending on what sort of country you're based in. Which of those three is your school? If it's an excelling, obviously you're focusing on, likely the transformational aspect. Your basics are happening, all of the curriculum's documented, your staff are working well, and you probably just want to be improving the pedagogy. If it's sort of a slumping school or your sort of standard middle of the road school, you probably want to be putting in place those structures. So there's probably more managerial work in that. So you might think in a slumping school, maybe the curriculum isn't as well documented, maybe teachers aren't necessarily working as well as they could be. And so you're mostly going to support that with managerial work. So keeping in mind that three-part Venn diagram, depending on the school that you're at, there might be more of certain types of jobs than others. So keep that in mind. The other thing is the core work of leadership is sort of it's relational, so it's conversational in many respects. So I'll probably be producing a separate course on having those coaching or difficult conversations on the side that's sort of further explored elsewhere. And another course I'd be interested to make is sort of looking at social media and the online space and how you can be practicing the skills of leadership, whether you're given those opportunities within your school or not. And obviously part of that would be, of course, the union leadership as well. In many respects, leadership is sort of something you are rather than something you do, but it's also something that you can't be unless someone lets you do it. So that's probably, if you were to type that, what I just said out as a quote, that's probably confusing sounding, but that's sort of how it works. We'd all like to say we're leaders, but until someone gives us the opportunity, it's rather hard to show that. Okay, so in closing and in summary, these are the three sort of parts of the Venn diagram. I've tried to keep it relatively light and accessible. All of this is backed up by research, and I could give you a list of references. In fact, there might even be some at the end of the course that you can read up on yourself to sort of see the backing of the things that I'm talking about. But I'm trying to bridge the theoretical and the practical here. So for you, your primary takeaway should be keeping this three-part Venn diagram in mind in your interactions with other staff especially, and basically doing a bit of a map of your school and looking at who's doing what roles, what are they called, what positions are available, and what work do they actually entail, because that's something that's not always necessarily clear. There might be a job sort of overview, but if you can keep in mind the work of the people that you would want to work with or take the job of, what work are they doing day to day, sort of maybe ask them if you could shadow them, follow them around for a day, do those kind of things. That will be a really good way to get a really good picture of how each of those three roles suit you, what the actual work looks like in your setting, because that's the difficult part. I can give you broad sort of 5-6 things for each of these three core roles and what they look like, what actual work will be taking place in each. But in your school, in your site, in your setting, that's going to differ wildly depending on the curriculum, and many other things besides whether you're an independent, religious or government school. All those things will differ and change the shape of the way of the work that you're looking for. But in closing, I just hope this has been useful as a sort of frame, a way of referencing the work that is happening in your school, where you want to be, and I hope that your explorations of leadership are greatly successful. So thank you for your time. And of course, if you'd like to chase up anything with me, my name's Stephen Kolber. If you type that name, Kolber, and Stephen with a V into Google, you can find numerous sort of ways, possibilities of contacting me, and by all means do if you'd like to.